Hey guys, Brody Swish with bowhunting.com here, and today I want to talk about the process of how to tune a broadhead for your bow. Now, a lot of guys think that when you start talking about tuning a broadhead, you're working and making changes to the broadhead itself, and the reality is there's not a lot of changes you can make to that broadhead. Not a lot of tweaks, be it mechanical or fixed blade. There's not a lot of changes that goes on in that process. You get what you get. But there are some changes that can be made in lining up your broadhead with particular vanes or in the arrow setup and the build process there. But the majority of the tuning process comes largely in the minimal changes you make in your arrow rest itself. So we're going to talk about that today, go over the real quick process. There's not a lot to it. It's very simple, but it's something you need to know as you get out there. A lot of guys want to shoot mechanical blades because they fly so good. They fly like darts. They fly like their field points. They shun fixed blades because they think, oh, it doesn't fly good. It doesn't fly like my field point. But the reality is it can. It's all in the tuning process. So let's get started. We're going to take a look at that today. All right, as for the equipment I'm using today, this is a Bear Kuma 30 compound bow with the hot wire bow sight from Trophy Ridge, as well as the Sync drop away rest and Hitman stabilizer, both from Trophy Ridge. Great little setup. We're going to use that for the demo today as we walk through the process of how to tune your bow or how to tune a broadhead to your bow. Now, the biggest thing to remember when it comes to tuning a bow for a broadhead is that it's the opposite process for what we would do when we're getting our bow sight dialed in. When we're setting up our pins, getting things dialed in, you remember, we chase that arrow. If your arrow goes right to the target, you move your pin to the right. If it goes left, you move pin left, up, down, whatever it is, we follow or we chase that arrow with our pins. But it's the opposite process when it comes to tuning. If your broadhead is impacting right of what you would like to see, you're going to move that rest slightly back to the left. If you're going left of the target with your broadhead and you want to get back to the right, you're going to bring it back in just to right. Again, you're pulling it back in whichever way you need. But you got to remember that it's very small, minimal changes. If you look down and you move that sucker over 1/4 of an inch, you're off the target. So very small, lightly moving that arrow back the way you want that arrow to be pulled into. So what does it look like on the range? You know, we step out there on the range. We've been shooting all summer. Our field point is right on the money, right in the bullseye. We've been shooting it all summer. We know where it hits, but we freak out when all of a sudden we get out there before season. We shoot our, be it a mechanical or fixed blade, we shoot our broadhead, and our broadhead is 3 inches to the right. It's low, it's high, whatever. Our broadhead is not in the bull. We run, grab a pack of mechanicals because we know they say on the package that they shoot just like a field point, so we use that as a band-aid to cover up the problem. But here's the deal. The problem is you've got a tuning issue and it needs to be handled, it needs to be addressed, and so we do that. All right, so we're out on the range, a couple shots in, and my field point right where it needs to be. However, my fixed blade broadhead shooting a little to the left, 2-3 inches to the left, not a big deal. Very common for fixed blade broadheads to fly just a little bit different than the field point. So all I'm going to do now, step back to the line, grab my Allen tool. Again, shooting 2 or 3 inches to the left, I'm going to step back, make a slight adjustment to my arrow rest, moving that arrow rest to the right. We're going to walk this arrow back in to the target. We're going to match it up, fixed blade broadhead with my field point. We can do it through the tuning process. It's shooting left. I'm going to make some adjustments, shoot it again, see what we get. And this is more like what I'm looking for, both field point and fixed blade, right in the money, right in the center. This is the setup I can trust and have confidence in when I step out to hunt. This is what I want to see. This is a fixed blade that just a few moments ago was shooting 2 or 3 inches to left, walking it back in with those changes to that arrow rest. I made slight changes, bringing that arrow rest in to the right a little bit, walk that fixed blade back in. It's right on the money. I'm not afraid to hunt with this setup. Fixed blade broadhead, right where it needs to be. That's the tuning process you want to see. All right, guys, as you can see, the tuning process for a bow and a broadhead is honestly not that difficult. It's a very simple technique and something we really all need to know so we can make sure our equipment is dialed in, we're staying sharp, we're staying on target, we're as deadly as possible when we step into the woods each spring and each fall. Take the time to make sure equipment's right where it needs to be. Know how to tune your bow to that broadhead. Get it done, knock it out. It's real simple. So we hope to see you back here for more videos on how-tos, gear reviews, all that stuff. We've got it right here at bowhunting.com. So be sure to like it, share it, subscribe it. We'll see you back next time. Shoot straight. God bless.